Hey guys, before we start, a quick shout out to Alpha Dog Nutrition for sponsoring this podcast. Alpha Dog products are now available at dusupply.com, and you can use code ALPHADOG15 at checkout for 15% off and a credit for free shipping to try it yourself. Now let's get you to your podcast. I am liking the new digs you got there. You got like a new office conference room. I saw the picture of my hide-a-bed, and it does not look anywhere near as nice as that office.
I'm trying to figure out how in this new conference room we're going to put like a futon that maybe
it's like I'm in college again.
Yeah, just something you can come in and crash in when you get in at 2 a.m.
Yeah, right.
And then I can take a nap.
There you go.
Most days. That's my plan. Is I can come in here, lock the doors, and take a nap.
It's quiet.
Oh, yeah. So, no, we've been working on it's been kind of a busy last couple months, but we kind of took the keys over. We expanded for those of it people who are listening. So we had a space, and there was a gym, like a
jiu-jitsu, wasn't it?
Yeah, they'd always throw kids up against the wall. We'd be working and hear just throwing little kids up against the wall. It sounds like whatever. So, well, anyways, that gym built a new space, and they moved out, and so the spots next to our building came free. And I always told the landlord, I said, hey, as soon as those spots are open, let me know. I want first on the list. And so, of course, they came to me, and there's 3 spots, and we took 2 spots. So we basically expanded by 2 times. So now instead of 1 space, we got 3 spaces.
Yeah.
And part of their build out that they had for that BMA gym was they had a little room, little conference room. I mean, they literally didn't do anything but, put gear bags in it and stuff like that. But it's probably a little 14 by 14 foot room that we're going to, make we'll put a conference table in here with a conference phone. So when we need to, have a sit down,
it's like the principal's office.
Yeah. When we need the HR department to have a conference call with Jason and be like, Jason, dude, you need to start taking a shower more often. You know what I mean? Like when you're showing up
wear
to work.
Shoes to work.
Yeah. There's just some common things that we got to talk about when your standard attire that is not appropriate. You can't just show up in your underwear. Like people on the phone don't need to be knowing that you're talking on your underwear.
It's not video chat. They don't know.
And, but yeah, we're going to do that. We'll put this in there. And I need to get some of the echo out. It's kind of echoey in here. I mean, it may not sound like it. I got the volume turned down enough, but we'll put some soundboards in here to dampen the sound, I think. And I think this would be a good place for me, because currently for me to do a podcast, I'd either have to run home or do it out of my desk. And there's a ton of sound and distractions when I'm at my desk. So, yeah, everyone was saying, oh, you should make this your office. And I don't want to make it my office. I like being with the group. I like being with the team.
Right.
I don't want to be isolated. I think they want me isolated sometimes.
That's your timeout corner.
You guys don't want me around. I get that feeling like I think Jess is at her end.
I just sit down here, man. My phone's on all the time. It don't matter.
So the Mike and Jess, I can feel the fact that they haven't used the F word with me yet, but they're close. Because we'll set up all these racks and they got these ideas, and I'm like, I come in, I'm like, no, we're gonna do it like this and this and this, and they just look at me like, what? And so I kind of just quietly back out. And
it's like Homer Simpson just backing into the shrubs.
Yeah, you know what? You guys pull most of the orders. Like I just check in once in a while. I'm just a cheerleader. So
I don't think people realize like how much they do either. Like really, this last couple weeks, or well, I guess it's been 2 weeks since Haloti left.
Yeah, to 3 weeks probably.
3 weeks. Yeah, I mean the shop, which I have about zero part of as far as the physical handling of orders.
Yeah,
that crew in there is killing it.
Yeah,
because it's small.
It is. And then this week, so it's just to back up. So that was back in May is when or April or May is when this room was coming available. And they had told me, they were like, how many space do you want? I said 2. And so I had to put this deposit down. I had to pay first month, last month's rent, and all this BS back in like April. And
it's a good time of year to do
and they're
that.
like, oh, we'll have it ready in June. And well, June rolls around and they weren't ready to be out. And so they were like, can we give it 30 days? And I'm like, yeah, no problem. We don't, we were operating fine out of our space. We just wanted a room. Well, so then they were telling us, oh, we'll be ready by July 1st. And then July 1st comes around and the BMA at Jim had moved out. So this space was empty, but they had to put a demising wall in. They had to rerun a couple electrical. All the lights were wired together. There was just a bunch of little technical stuff that we had to do for this building to separate it, right? Because there's one bay that they're going to keep and then 2 bays we were going to take. And so there's just a lot of technicals in there. And I was told, it's like, yeah, we could just knock this out in like 2 or 3 days and be done. Well, 2 months later.
Yeah, right.
The painters were painting on Monday. We had racking. Anyways, we officially started paying for the space September 1st, right? So that's when we moved in September. I'd say we had some stuff in here, but anyways, like Monday, I told him, I said, we got racking showing up. Like we're drilling and racking and we need this wall finished drywalled and painted so we could put our racking against it. And they just finished everything. And so this week we've been freaking running a roto hammer drill, which is like, you want to talk about sweating, like dripping sweat coming off of drilling these holes in the concrete to mount our racking and all that stuff down. And then building these beams and carrying these stupid Lincoln, those, it's kind of like pallet racking, but it's not. And I'm like, holy hell. It's been a week. So we're shutting down early today because I was joking. I was gonna put a post on there. I was like, if I keep working like this, I'm gonna be in shape for hunting season, man. I'm not used to this kind of work.
We're as out of shape as our dogs.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I'm like this. I go home.
Please hold.
Oh,
but it's trying to die on us.
Yeah. So long story short, we still got more work to do. Tomorrow or next week our the way the things are on the shelves and the organization and all that, is going to change. But we've been laying the groundwork. Pallets are put away. Dog food's got on pallets, and we can put them on racks, and it's nice. We got space, you know what I mean? So we're finally expanding into some space where we've got a little bit of breathing room, but it's just a little chaotic for a little bit. And you've been having to cover the phones while we're we're getting phones, but you're definitely hammering on phones right now. So
people are surprised that they talk to me lately. It seems like it's like, no, I just answer a bunch of the calls.
Yeah. So if you haven't, you may not have noticed, but we are doing a ton of work behind the scenes on top of our normal jobs of getting orders out. And so far, we've had to overnight a couple Garmin orders because we haven't been watching the inventory flow as well as we should have. And so we had a couple times where we're like, oh shit, we ran out of 300s, I think. And the TT25 flex bands has been a kind of a nightmare getting those from Garmin. So there's been a few things, but it hasn't been anything that the customers have noticed, luckily. Who knows?
It's been pretty smooth. They're doing a good job.
Mm-hmm.
Although, I'm assuming you saw the letter from the quitter. Did you see Halodi's letter?
Yeah, I did. So Halodi, he quit us. Yeah, I think we talked about this on the last podcast.
He joined the Marines.
So we get this letter from him. We get this letter from the Marines or whatever.
On Marine stationery, like with this stamp. Yeah.
It's just one line. It just says they're yelling at me.
That's it. Period.
That's it. That's the whole letter. Like, oh, perfect.
Oh man, I thought that was hilarious.
I want to just reply, us too. We are too, Hilary. No. So hopefully they make him do a couple extra push-ups for us.
Being a smart ass.
Yeah. Yeah. So,
but we do have some new help in the shop.
yeah, we got a new gal that starts. She'll start officially full-time Monday. She's come in a couple times in the last week or two to do help some training, and I think she's going to do good. So
Right on.
soon you'll start hearing Janet probably answer the phone. I'd imagine it'd be a couple weeks before you hear her on the phones, but we did get Halodi's spot replaced.
Everybody
Mostly
be nice
because I
to
want to go
Janet.
hunting. So I need to get somebody in here so I can go hunting. Everybody
is
always
that time
quits
of year.
before hunting season.
It's open right now, isn't it?
Yeah.
Pursuit season.
Yeah. I just mean Halodi. Like,
No.
I got dreams of hunting a little more this year, but yeah, I'm gonna do anyways. I don't care. Place
it's
burns
tough.
down, I'm going hunting.
It hasn't burned down the last couple times. I think you'd be
No.
all right. You can just put out fires when you get back.
Yeah. Yeah, no. So yeah, that's the rundown of the new shop. Like, we got a lot of changes going. I don't think it'll affect customers too much, but just to understand that, man, we're trying to keep up with what we got, but we got a shorthanded, and we're building out a whole twice as big of an area with racking and all that kind of stuff. So what's been going on with you? You were gone for Autumn Oaks.
Yeah.
How did that go?
It was a really good trip, but it was absolutely miserable weather. It was so freaking hot. Like, for a fat kid who's not used to any humidity at all, I was pretty much dying.
Really?
But no, it was really cool. Tons of customers down there. Like, we get a lot of bear customers that go to that. And that was fun, getting to meet those guys. And I rented a house with Steve and Ben Sheets. So I can hang out with Fielder. That's always fun.
Yeah.
Whenever you get a word in edgewise, he's usually like mobbed.
Oh, really?
Oh, dude, it's like Elvis Presley walked out on stage. Everybody is around Steve from the moment he like steps out of his truck to the minute he gets in it.
Really?
Oh yeah, all day long. He was doing podcasts and stuff. So I don't know if he had a part 2 or if he launched all of them. His episode from this week was on Autumn Oaks, but there might be a part 2. So that was fun.
Right on.
We got to walk a cast, and I got to hunt with, a black dog, a red bone, and a couple of walkers. Saw some buddies, met some buddies that I've never met. I mean, like Ben Sheets, we've been buddies for a long time. I've never met him, but we got to
I
hang
thought you
out.
met him last year.
No, we've never actually met in person.
Okay.
So that was pretty cool. He brought his dad. His dad was awesome. He made sure we had food. He helped me man the booth while I was gone and, shooting the breeze with people. So it was
Right
it was
on.
a good time. And Josh Michaelis is right next to us. So of course there was some laughs exchanged there. That was pretty fun.
Yeah.
But
Cool.
yeah, it was a good trip.
Yeah.
There's a lot of coon out there, man. I saw my first red fox. Like, as a fox hunter, I was totally blown away because I've never seen a red one in person here. So we were driving out to our go get some Gatorades or something before the cast, and there was a gray fox or a red fox eating on some roadkill. So I got to finally see one. I thought that was like the highlight of my trip in some ways.
Do they run those things?
I think there's still guys that do. I mean, most of them are running
climb
coyote.
though, right? They don't.
They go to ground.
Okay.
There's legend that we've got them here, but I think they were just grays that nobody could catch.
Gotcha.
I don't know. Like, they have them over on the east side of the state, so it's possible. But
Right.
it was cool to see one.
Cool.
But yeah, how was? Because you're getting ready to leave too,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah. I'm gonna.
It's busy travel time. It's
I'm
buddy's
gonna-
hunting season. Everybody, please hold.
Yeah. Yeah.
It starts now and it ends about March.
We had somebody,
and then the hurricane comes back.
We had a customer call yesterday. I think it was. It's 3:00. It's not a holiday. Like, it's 3:15. It's not a holiday that I'm aware of. What are you guys closed for? And I'm like, man, we just don't want to work very hard right now. Sorry.
I just get the memo.
Yeah.
Hey, we're leaving today. Cool.
Yeah. I'm like, dude.
See you later.
Like,
bye.
So yesterday I taught a hunter ed class. I've been teaching hunter ed, doing a couple classes every month or so during this time because they're slow. And so we shut everybody down at 3 and kick everybody out so I can start this class at 3 just so I can be done by like 7:38. Right. So that I'm not getting home at 9:30. Yeah, somebody wasn't too happy that we shut the phones off at 3. I'm like, well, tomorrow we're shutting them off at 2:30 because I'm sore from drilling stupid concrete holes, and I'm just not cut out for real work anymore.
Manual labor.
Yeah, which will probably get back to a regular routine. But I want, like, I'm at that point where, like, get your orders in online, get them in before 1 or 2. We will ship them out. Like, you know what I mean? But
right.
Like on a Friday when shipping cut off, we can't get it shipped out after 3 anyways, or 2:30, all our pickups are happened. And it's like, nothing's going to leave this building after 2:30 anyways, for the most part.
Right.
I'm ready to just cut. I'm like, yeah, we're going home early. Like I'm there. We work pretty hard as a small group, a small shift. So anyways, with that said, people, on a Friday, get some orders in early. Don't call us at 3:45 on a Friday because we may not answer the phone.
At 3:45, we won't ever answer the phone because the phone shut off at 3:30.
3:30. Yeah.
Let me fix that for you.
Sometimes 2:30. The last 2 weeks has been 2:30 on a Friday because I'm
daylight savings is optional. We just
I was like, whatever. Like, so anyways, that's a good thing for people who's listening, man, on a Friday. And some of these, I'm just trying to make sure that we get some time off and we work hard when we need to work hard. We get our orders shipped out. But if you're expecting the phones at the end of the day, we may be short on that. I'm just going to be honest with this because we might sneak out the back door.
There you go.
So, yeah. That's the public service announcement.
PSA.
And I'm going hunting soon, so like I'm gonna be gone the whole time. I feel bad when I leave and you guys look at me.
No, he doesn't.
A little bit, just a little bit, not a ton, but a little bit.
The problem is like our hunting schedules that overlap. That's the hard part because you're one of those morning people.
Yeah.
And I'm like, absolutely not. So the best part is like when the days start getting short and it's dark by 4:30 and I could be out of here right at 4 and be on the mountain and done and be back and home in bed by 10. That is really awesome. And you like get up at what, 3, 4 in the morning to go out?
No. But yeah, it depends. Most of the time I don't get up that early. I don't, it all depends on the weather, but,
you got any places to hunt this year?
I went over, we got our asses beat by 2 cats, actually. One, I think we might've caught, but we just didn't locate. That's what I'm at least telling myself. Mm-hmm. I know it's a pretty lame excuse, but, we ran it. It ran pretty good. Everything seemed like okay. But there were some campers down in the spot, I think. And so we might have, I don't know if the dogs bumped into some campers and it kind of screwed them up or what, or they just didn't locate. I don't know what happened. I heard some voices down there where the dogs were. And then they came out of there. And then right there where we were bumping stuff on the road, there was a dead rabbit there where something had been eating on it. So I'm pretty sure it was a bobcat. That was a couple weeks ago, 2 weeks ago, last week.
Yeah, it was a week and 6 days ago.
Yeah, because James blew his truck up or whatever.
I saw something about that. Something about every time I hunt with Buddy, it's a complete shit show.
Yeah, we were coming out of we were actually staying at John's, and we were coming out of John's heading to the Dalles, and we were going to split. He was going to head home, and I was going to head home. And we're 20 miles into the outside of the Dalles, and he just starts losing power. Like I'm in front, and he's behind me, and I look back, and he's not there anymore. And I hear him on the radio. He's like, "Hey, man, I don't know what's going on, but I'm losing power." And his truck went into limp mode.
Oh.
So we pulled over 90 degrees with dogs and shit like that. And so we're trying to, he had a code reader. So we're pulling codes, and we're getting a bunch of injector codes and the PCM codes and stuff. And anyways, he's still trying to figure out. He's got it at Ford right now because he thinks it's a PCM, but Ford says it's not. And so he's like, well, so I think he's going to let Ford go with it, but he'll probably regret that decision. They'll probably.
You sound like you speak from experience.
Normally, when you're arguing with the mechanics at the dealership, and you're like, "Hey, it's a PCM," and I always say there's like two of them, right? There's two people that answer the phone at a dealership. One sounds really smart, and one sounds like Bozo the Clown, right? So. So you'll get the one that's really smart, who makes you start thinking you don't know what you're talking about. You know, like, oh, it's not ever the PCM. It's da-da-da-da-da. And it's this. And you're like, okay, maybe he's right. So you send it down there, and then they replace the stuff that they say they need to replace, and it doesn't fix it. And then that guy doesn't call you back. The Bozo guy calls you back, being like, oh, yeah, we tried that and it just didn't work, and I'm still not sure what's going on. And so we're going to look at it some more, and and I just don't know. And so we'll call you back after we do a little more diags. And then Bozo doesn't call you back, but the smart guy calls you back and goes, well, we're pretty sure we and they have a plan, and you're like, oh, okay, this sounds pretty smart. Why don't you try that? And by the time they replace half the truck, they finally figure it out after a couple times. So
sometimes the whole truck.
I've had a couple situations where it's like we end up on the thing that I asked you to replace. Like the one time it was a water pump. I had a buddy that had a VR4 twin turbo, blah blah blah, and I said, "Yeah, your water pump's screwed up. This thing's overheating." And I said, "I am not tearing into this thing to replace a water pump. It's whatever." And so we went through Bozo the Clown. They replaced the radiator from a radiator block to this, to that, to this. Well, he finally, like after the third time, then like $2,000, he's like, well, we started to go down to the water pump because they want to replace the thermostat, which I already replaced. And we go to the water pump, and he goes, well, we found the water pump and the belt was loose. And I'm like, bingo, that's it. Fix it. Just tighten that belt.
Tighten the belt.
Like, well, we want to look at it pretty close and make sure that, we're already here, so we should just take a look at this water pump. I'm like, dude, if the belt is loose, you found the problem. Just tighten that belt up. Let's get that bitch out of there, right? Right. We just wouldn't feel right if we just didn't do a thorough job. So I'm telling you, just tighten that belt. Well, about 3 hours later, here comes Bozo. Well, we went down and we got to the water pump, and the water pump's good. And so we ended up going back together, and we tightened the belt, and we had a tooth off on the timing, and so we bent some valves. I'm like, you son of a bitch. Bent the valves on a twin turbo VR4. And I'm like, that's on you, man. You got to fix it. So there was a 2-week time for them to replace valves and do a whole machine head gasket. And I'm like, if y'all would have just listened to me and just tightened that goddamn belt, you would have been.
It sucks being on the other side of that, though. Let me tell you,
yeah,
because it's not always the mechanic; it's your service writer. It's like, dude, I don't know where you find these guys, but
yeah, we went.
They're different.
But that was my buddy. This was back when I was in Intel days. This I was young, and so my buddy went in there, and they had like a $3,500 check bill for this, right? And he was pissed, but he's like, they were gonna not give him his car back. So I don't advocate for this, but this is what he did. He wrote a check, drove the car out, and as he's driving out of there, canceled the check. So they had to go to court, and it was a fun ordeal. Like, I actually went to court as a witness, whatever, and they, because they would And the bozo guy or the smart guy would be like, well, we're not just some barnyard mechanics. Da, 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 da. We do blah, 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 blah. You know, and so they're basically inferring me as the barnyard mechanic, you know what I mean? The redneck or whatever. And
I'll take that guy.
so we show up in the court. The judge is like, well, who are you? And I go, I'm the barnyard mechanic that they refer to as, you know what I mean? Redneck, whatever. This is my experience. And the judge just laughed. He's like, okay, well, fair enough. That sounds good. So
I'm
anyways,
going to go up.
we won his case, but yeah, we got sidetracked on that one.
No, I'm going to go out on a limb because I know you don't ever watch movies. Have you ever seen My Cousin Vinny?
Mm-hmm.
When she's on the stand talking about
exactly.
Skylar. I love that. That's all I can think about is like, sometimes people do know what they're talking about.
Yeah. So
you're no Marissa Tomei, but
so I don't know what's going to happen with James's truck, but we'll find out if it's the PCM. But they were just, I mean, that Ford dealership he was messing with was kind of being dicks about it because he's like, could you just give me my VIN number so I can order the right PCM product and bring a flash in and I'll just try it, you know, and I can get a PCM online for like $500.
Right.
Because, you know, Ford's going to charge $1,500, you know,
or more,
$1,200 or $1,500 for a PCM. And anyway, so they kind of got him bid over. Like he's
kind of at their mercy.
Yeah. You're either on these new trucks, they can be kind of difficult to jump in, especially when it's electrical. You know what I mean? Like
it's no different than our Garmin's. The same thing. Like you jump into this new stuff, and there can be problems.
Yeah. Yes.
Luckily, they got most of them fixed.
Yeah. There was an update that came out on the Alphas for the GPS issue. Have we done a podcast with that or no?
Mm-mm.
That was So
that was your segue.
I'd already forgotten about it. It's too much stuff has happened since that week. So there was a couple weeks ago, the Garmin's, the 300s and some 200s just would not acquire GPSs. And it was, and I still don't fully comprehend the technicalities of how these devices and the protocols for communicating to the satellites to get your signal, you get your time clock and distance signal, the pieces that Garmin need to calculate the GPS location, right? There's some type of protocol that you have to use to talk to these satellites or whatever. And so a portion, one small piece of that protocol, whether I've heard it called a firewall, you know, I've heard the term used for a firewall. I've heard I forget what you have to look on my Facebook page. I forget what that other word was that I've heard used. But I've heard these different terms. Nobody can clearly explain to me, probably because I'm too stupid, right? Like they're like, well,
barnyard
mechanic. I'm just a barnyard mechanic. But there's something in that protocol. So when you're talking like on computers, and you got buses, what they call a bus is it's not like a bus with wheels. It's basically wires. So it'll be like an 8-bit bus. So it'll be 8 wires going from one chip to the next chip, or maybe your network card, or all these different things you put in a computer. They have, and most of them now are more than 8-bit buses. They're like 32 and 64, and these. There's just a bunch of wires in parallel that run from one device to the next device, and those devices talk with ones and zeros, right? So all computers, satellites, all that kind of stuff talks with ones and zeros for the most part. So it's a pattern of 0, 1, 0, 0, 0, 0, on these lines, either sending them through the air or if they're wired, through wires. And there's like a handshake that happens because otherwise the two devices would just yell at each other. You know what I mean? So the two devices got to learn to handshake each other. So this device will be like, boop, 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 send the signal that says, hey, I want to send you information. And the other one would go, boop, boop, okay, I get that. I'm listening. And then this, your right hand would be like, here's the data I want to send. It sends all the data. And then it sends a an end signal that says ended. You know what I mean? I sent you all the data I want. There's the end. And then this device would say, boom, I received this. Here's the data I want to send you. And so they, basically it's like if you only had a one-way, and there's technology is expanding. So there's bi-directional, blah, blah, blah. There's stuff. But at the very basic principle, whether it's a computer with DDR3 or DDR2 or DDR1, the different speeds of communication. There's PCI. There's just, there's all these different types of communication. I don't know what that satellite communication is, but I have to assume it's very similar in a serial transmission because you can't send multiple lines to that satellite. There's one line. It's a 1 or a 0. So you can send a 0, a 1, and so you would send how many bits? Let's say there's 64 bits, and it would be like 0, 1, 0, 0, 0, 1, 0, 0, really super, super fast. Within a half a second, you're sending, this whole like 64. Yeah, you're machine gunning the zeros and ones to the satellite. And the satellite's going to go received, and it would send back the information that was requested. You know what I mean? So some part of that communication was wrong. And so either, and again, I don't know, but the firewall is what I've heard termed is so that the unlock code or whatever you want to call it, you know what I mean? So there's this protocol that you have to send this first. So it may be something, it's like, hey, send this 8 bits first, which tells your device, you know what I mean? And then the next 8 bits might be what category you are. And then the next 8 bits might be this, so there's just these stack of 8 bits of 8 bits of 8 bits. And so one of those bits could have been wrong. And so the satellite's like, you're not authorized. You know what I mean? Like you're not authorized for this data. Gotcha. And so that satellite could have not sent it back, because it didn't get authorized or something like that. And again, this is hypothetical. I'm not saying this is what the exact problem is. I'm saying this is likely what I understand. There's a process in here somewhere in this communication that just started breaking. And people can blame the 300 if you want. Every single cell phone, GPS device, boat device, car device, any of these things have to go through this protocol, I would assume. And they have to do that unlocking or whatever that, so if it is a firewall or if it is unlock or it's a misplaced bit or, an expired security, token that says, hey, Garmin's got to get this new security token and it updated, that weekend, but the devices didn't get the updated token or something.
Sure.
Any one of these little things could have happened and caused it to break. And the end of the day, it really just shows me that we need to be prepared for issues. You know what I mean? Like we can't expect 100% uptime all the time. Like we can hope for it, right. But if, and I'm kind of on the fence on this because it's like, yeah, we need it to be 100%. When we turn our dogs loose, we need to know where they are. But if I had to build the system, I kind of compare it to my website, right? I want 99.9% uptime on my server. Like, yeah. It doesn't matter if you go to my website at 1:35 in the morning. I want that website to wake up and do exactly what it's supposed to do. That doesn't always happen. Like, right. We'll have these situations where it's like, bam, the memory crashed or something happens on this computer board, and it fills up this memory, and then all of a sudden it can't. It's overwhelmed or whatever, mm-hmm. And so. Sometimes we got to reboot the server. Sometimes it fixes itself. Our servers in these computers are self-fixing a lot of the times. They go, oh, we got too much memory over here. Clear this memory out, clear class, and everything starts working again. Sometimes 20 seconds. Your site may be down for 20 seconds and it'll fix it automatically. And other times I got to call the server admin and be like, hey, what's going on with my website? And he'll look at it and go, oh, this log file is too big. Let me go in here and he'll go do a change, and a human jumps in there and fixes it. So, website server, Garmin device, computer, James's truck. You know what I mean? Ford F-350. You know what I mean? Like sometimes shit happens. And with these computers, which the Garmin GPSs are exactly that, they are computers, we are going to see issues. Mm-hmm. Most of the time, they're individual issues, meaning your device fails. You know what I mean? Like you're out hunting and your collar fails, but the rest of your collars are working, or your handheld fails or breaks or whatever. That's the most common type of failure that we see is a single device fails because something happens, and that's frustrating, but it's isolated. Right. But this was a situation where it's like, a lot of us are relying a lot on expecting 100%. And when something big happens, and I just say, let's just assume there's a solar flare that blocks
because it happens.
But let's just say there's an environmental solar flare that comes in and it blocks the whole northern hemisphere from satellite signals working very well. And so on opening day of cat season or bear season or whatever you want to go, no GPSs work. None. Like you're not going to, I don't care what you got. You can have Dogtra, you can have Garmin, you can have Apple, you can have your truck. None of those are going to work because of environmental issues. You got to ask yourself, what are you going to do? Like, are you ready for that? I don't like thinking about it, but it does make me realize, I'm like, man, we have really come to rely on these computers working 100% of the time. Mm-hmm. And if they don't work, if they won't turn on, maybe it's a day, maybe it's 2 days, maybe it's a week. You know what I mean? Like if a problem like this happens, luckily this was fixed pretty quickly, but I look at it and I go,
yeah,
that could have been a week-long problem, guys. You know what I mean? Like, I don't know what people's answer is, but we should think about that. We should at least give pause to go, if we lost our Garmins for a week,
what are you going to do?
What are we going to do? Are we just going to go hunt? Are we going to hunt like like Grandpa and Grandma, Grandpa did? Most people probably not.
Right.
You know what I mean? Like, I don't know what the answer is. So anyways, that was my talking about it, but that's kind of my overall big picture of that 300, 200 problem that happened. Garmin was pretty quick to fix it. There's a software update now. I definitely encourage everybody to get the software update. But people should at least think and go, if you wake up in the morning and your stuff doesn't work, that's a problem that could happen one day.
And telemetry is hard because it's like, yeah, it's a great backup, but at times it can turn your backup into your primary, causing signal jam and all of that. So it's like relying on just a GPS caller. It's either going to work or it's not. My hunting partner just messaged me. He says he was out all night because the collar dropped. And, we've all been there. But imagine, like you're saying, if it just went out, are you going to turn around and go home?
If you lost everything while you're hunting, if you lost everything.
Yeah. Like,
you know what I mean? Like dogs are out and whatever happens in that satellite infrastructure, it just goes down. Whether it's hacked, you know what I mean? Like we've gotten, I got hacked. My Facebook. Talk about
I was wondering if you were going to talk about that.
Shit.
That was before freaking mess, bud.
Yeah. So we're still trying to clean that up. But before we get into Facebook hacking, because that was me being stupid and giving them my password like a dummy. And I'll explain exactly how I did that. But no, I didn't write it on a piece of paper and hand it to them, but it was a little more complex. but anyways, back to the satellite issue. If when I just sit back and I think about the risks and the things out there, and I'm watching some of these hacks. There was one a couple months ago where computer system got hacked and it pretty much grounded all the planes. A lot of the planes got grounded from it. We've had our system, we've been hacked many times. Like our website's trying to get hacked right now. I promise you, like we have a fairly robust firewall, you know what I mean? So a security profile that we spend quite a bit of money on our server. And so that our server is pretty robust, so that if you try to access it invalid ways, like more than 3 times, it blocks you out. And then, but these systems and these hackers and these malware devices are getting fairly complicated. You know what I mean? They're doing different things. We'll see them, credit card fraud. You know what I mean? Like we see our credit card frauds. We come through and we'll just get these thousands of orders for this really small item. So like a $3 item, $3 or $5 item. We'll just come in and we get these computer systems that access our site from the back end and use these, what they call like API protocols. And so they try and run these scripts to run a $3 part. So they'll find some stupid bell, you know what I mean? So a small bell or something like that. And we'll be in there and it'll be like decline. It's like, on first you're like, man, this guy really wants to buy a bell. You know what I mean? Like, what the hell? His card just looking through for $3. Yeah, I'm like, dude, this guy's got a bunch of declining cards. Well, then you look and it's a different card number every time. And so what they're doing is they're testing these credit cards, these stolen credit cards that they get somewhere. Mm-hmm. And so we've got to be really careful, because if we ship that $3 bell, the risk for us isn't that we lost a $3 bell. I can afford to send somebody a free bell for $3. You know what I mean? Like, cost me $2 or whatever it is, right? Right. No, the shipping, blah, blah, blah. It's not so much that I care about the device, you know what I mean? The $3 item. It's that I let them get away with one.
Yeah.
And then they know.
Then it's an alpha.
Then that brings in 10 guys, because somewhere on that black market, they're like, hey, this W site will do this. Blah, blah, blah. And then we'll get our intensity of that attack just expands. It's almost like a firefight. I mean, you really just feel like you're like in a semi-automatic fight against a bunch of guys with automatics. They're just pounding you from this whole different angles. And it's like all these declines, and we see them. And when they fail, we deny them. And I go in there, I block their IP, and then they change their IP. You know what I mean? So they have these different computers, and so they change the computer and they come in from a different angle. And so we stop them on there, and it'll take a couple days sometimes of blocking them and making their life miserable. Right. To where they just go away. And they're like, okay, these guys, there's easier people to fight with. You know what I mean? There's easier people to scam. And so anyways, long story, I see all these different attacks, all these different things happening behind the scenes. I can log into my server right now, and I can tell you that there's DOS attacks, there's, FTP attacks. There's going on probably as I'm typing right now. Our server is probably blocking some different attacks. All these computers are looking to take over different servers. And so when I see that, I have to assume Garmin servers, the satellites, all of that is.
Do we not remember
constant?
Garmin?
Yeah.
Was it last year or 2 years ago?
It was like 3 or 4 years ago.
Time flies when you're having fun, but they miraculously, I don't know how that happened, but their stuff got unlocked, right? Like, that was a big deal.
They got hacked. And so anyways, just to wrap it back into the dogs, just understand that there's a barrage of security malware on every faucet, every angle of every computer device out there. Your Ford truck, I guarantee you somebody's trying to hack into that and try and do something. Your Toyota, your cell phone. I'll tell you exactly how they got into my cell phone, like in a second, because that's how I got hacked, was through my cell phone for my Facebook. They got me through my cell phone. But all these different angles, anything technology version, this security problem is just compounding and compounding and compounding, and they're going to win once in a while. And so I just look at it and go, I'm not saying I know how, I don't understand the process, but I'm just saying that, man, something in the future at some point, we're going to look at this and go, man, this shit don't work no more. Wonder what happened. It's going to take a little while. It might take a day. It might take a week to fix it. And so we should be mentally prepared. Let's talk about Facebook, man. Getting hacked by Facebook. That's always fun. I think
the book of faces.
This is my second time. Like, you would think I would learn the first time. Second time I've just handed over my password to the things. So there's a program. Most people wouldn't get hacked this way. Most people would look at this email. Like, you've seen the emails, haven't you?
Unless you're a big shot like Buddy.
Yeah. Have you seen the emails?
Coming through?
The mail, they're going to mail?
Yeah.
Yeah, that's exactly what it was, right?
Yeah, I knew that's what it was. And it looks legit,
Yeah, but you don't know what Test Flight is, do you?
No, I had no idea. That's why I left it.
Yeah. So Test Flight is an app or a program that's able to push unreleased versions of apps that are not approved by Apple. So if I'm testing an app for Garmin or like Laylapse or Dogtra, any company that I'm testing an app for that they don't want on the public market for Apple, most of the time they'll go through a program called Test Flight. And so I can go into Test Flight and I can push apps to my phone that are not just approved for everybody or whatever, right? They got to give me the key and the code, and then I can go download their app to test. So I have a Test Flight account. And so I use Test Flight, and I know what Test Flight is. Well, I got the first one a couple days before, and it was from Meta, but it wasn't Meta. It was Meta advertising LT, something. Right. So it looked pretty official, but I didn't fully vet it, right? I just looked at it and I was like, they want me to test the Facebook Business Manager, right? So they had researched enough to know that we use Business Manager in our Facebook profile. So that's where we can schedule posts and have multiple people working on our Facebook page. It's not just one, if anybody thinks I'm the guy posting on Facebook, I'm not. Like, you can tell when I post because it's normally got typos and it's like last minute, fired off half-ass.
Extra capitals. Like, I really mean this word right here.
When it's all caps and when it's yelling and it's like, bah, and it's not well thought out. You know what I mean?
That's
when it's just like, that's me. That's normally when it's me. And I'm normally getting yelled at, like, don't screw up your Facebook. Don't puke on your Facebook, whatever. Something. I don't give a shit.
Double up, Chuck.
It's on my mind. We're going to go straight to Facebook and we're going to go post it. That's the problem with me.
We'll think about it later. We got plenty of time to think about it later.
Trying to get Facebook could be hacked tomorrow. I might as well use it today when I got access. Because tomorrow I might not have access to that shit to do that. So
no kidding.
So anyways, we use this business profile manager, and I seen that email. Wasn't even interested in testing it the first time. I said, hey, we want you to test this new business profile manager for Meta, for your business page. And first time I was like, I'm too busy for this shit. I don't care about the Facebook, whatever. So I probably deleted that email. Didn't think about it. Well, Saturday morning, we were going to take the kids to go to the lake. They got some paddle boards. And so we were going to go spend a day on the lake. And so I'm just sitting on the couch trying to kill some time as everybody's, I'm up in the morning and they're like milling around. And I'm like, God, I got 20 minutes before.
Right.
So I'm just scrolling through emails and I see that. And just enough, I let my guard down. And I don't know why. And I clicked on it, logged in Test Flight, just like other apps I've done, every single one, no issues.
All look the same.
Look good from Facebook. It says test. I click the test button. It installs this app that looks like legit, you know, see this little icon. It's on my phone now. Click open, and it pulls up my Facebook profile, right? And I look at it, and it looks more like a computer screen, right? I remember very vividly this, right? And I still had no clue what I was doing, but I look at this computer screen, and it's like a spreadsheet, and it shows my ads, you know, the ad spend we don't spend a lot, but it shows old ad spends, and I'm trying to look for the planner so I can look at the schedule of what the girls got posting for Facebook, you know what I mean? So I was like, I was going to try and find my scheduler so I could just look and see, because I wanted to see if this was a really easy way for me to check up on the social media girls. And so I click on it, and it just doesn't look good. It looks like a computer screen on my phone. You know what I mean? And anyways, I probably spent a minute and a half, if not a minute, poking around on this thing. And I'm like, this thing sucks, man. This is bullshit. This doesn't look good. It doesn't feel good.
Right.
Like, Facebook sucks at making apps. You know what I mean? Like, what do you think? So I just delete it. I delete the app. And I even given feedback. I'm like, your app needs better GUI interface, you know, which is graphical user interface. You know, I'm giving technical terms and shit to these people. Like, I'm like, your GUI sucks. You know what I mean? So the GUI, I'm like, it looks too much like a computer. And little do I know that these guys are like, that was not the purpose of that app, sir. The whole purpose of that app was to get your password from your cell phone. And
Give me all your money.
Accomplished that very well. Our app works perfectly fine for you.
You pay for that in gift cards, right?
And so, anyways, I still didn't know it at this time, but I fill out this feedback survey. I'm like, dude, this app sucks. I'm not interested in using it, and I don't need to test it. And I delete it off my phone. Deleted the email, thinking I was giving Facebook some feedback, you know, because I thought Facebook wanted to hear from me. And apparently they don't. They still don't. They don't care.
They really don't want to talk to you.
No, they don't care. I've been trying to talk to them though. Trying to talk to the real Facebook since that happened, and they're like, "Yeah, sorry. Talk to those hackers. They're more interested in talking to you."
And this is when Buddy Woodbury got into a whole heap of trouble.
So, I kill it. I send them feedback, and I take off to the mountain. You know, I mean, go up on the lake. And we have an awesome day paddling around. We're jumping off the paddle boards. We're freaking having fun. We're killing it out there in the mountain. No cell phones. We're out of cell phone service.
Right.
You know, come back all tired. I didn't get sunburnt this time. Like last time just looked like a crab coming out of the lake. So I use sunscreen, and I get back and so I sit back down that evening. I get back in there, and I start going through my emails, and it's like, you've been logged out. You know, your Facebook account is locked due to suspicious activity. Mm-hmm. And I look at the time, and it's like, did you log in at 11:50 or 10:30 or whatever it was? I'm like, no, I was out of cell phone service at 10:50, and it slowly just started collapsing around. Like, oh shit, you know what I mean? Like, and I even posted on my Facebook. I was like, hey, I don't know what exactly happened, but right. I'm like, if you see anything weird, let me know, because I feel like I just got taken.
I just got hacked.
I just feel like something's not right. You know what I mean? Like I don't feel like.
Yeah.
And yeah.
But like you said, that's a big deal, because somebody gets control of that. There's a lot of followers. There's like 90,000 followers.
Yeah. Yeah. They had control of it. They
owned
totally
that thing.
So it was really interesting, because for the first 4 days, like, I couldn't find anything wrong. It felt good. Mm-hmm. It felt everything was good, still working. Everything, we were able to post. We've seen a couple funny things. The girls said that they couldn't link Instagram, so Instagram and Facebook weren't linked up. And so we're like, that's odd. And so when they got my account, essentially what they did was they kicked me out. So they stripped out all the emails. So I didn't get any email notifications when I was removed as admin. Mm-hmm. But they gave me permission to post, to message, pretty much all the permission to run Facebook except the admin. Right? I was no longer an admin.
Notice.
I didn't own it. but I didn't notice anything was wrong, right? I'd log into Facebook and I'm like, dude, I can still post. I can still go live. I can do all these things that I would normally be able to do on Facebook. The only thing I couldn't do was delete or add another admin. You know what I mean? I didn't notice that. Because who looks to go see if you can, I can delete my page. I'm good. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
like nobody checks if you can delete the page. Yeah. I'm like, nope. That wasn't something I checked. I checked, could I post? I could get to messages. I could go live. I could comment. You know what I mean? I could do almost everything I needed to do. And after a couple days in a different spot, you know, and the business manager, I was like, why can't I add, you know, because I was trying to get you off or something, or I was trying to get yours back on there. And I was like, man, I can't add this account. And I couldn't link the Instagram account. It was like, yeah, sorry, there was a failure, you know, it was a permissions failure or something. And I had to dig deeper. And so it was really impressive that they went through the efforts that you couldn't see them, but they'd give you the facade that your shit was right. You know what I mean?
Right.
Like, and I think they were really hoping that somebody would go by for a month or two and not notice and be so far away from that hacking that they could just continually leverage that Facebook account for whatever. One of the things they did do was they ran like $1,200 worth of advertisements off of the account. And I don't know what ads they ran, but they were running Singapore. And like Facebook doesn't give you good insights on your ads. It's just like, hey, if you looked at it, it just says new ad, you know, it says new ad spend or whatever, new ad program. But you click on it and you can't see where the ads were spent. You can't see what ads were run. You can just see that they had, you know, hell, they had a pretty good click-through rate. I don't know what they were advertising, but a lot of people clicked on that shit.
It's a little scary.
They ran $600 in 2 days. They ran 2 times $600. So it's $1,200 is what Facebook says we owe them. But they didn't use my credit card on file. They put a new credit card on that declined. So I didn't get the alert, you know, from my credit card. You know what I mean? If it would have gone on my credit card, I would have got the alert. I would have been like, what the hell's going on Facebook? Why are they running $600 ads? Because I don't run a lot of ads.
Right.
So they put it on a fake credit card, ran it. They knew it was going to decline. The ads were run because our account was in good standing. Facebook's like, oh, these guys are good for $1,200. So they let them run the ads.
Right.
Well, they decline. And then Facebook locks us out of the ads and they go, you guys aren't allowed to advertise anymore until you pay your bill. And I'm stuck telling Facebook, I'm like, dude, I don't want to pay the bill. You know, so
I didn't sell anything.
Yeah. I'm like, and of course you try to email Facebook and I don't know.
You're lucky. You got the inside hookup.
No. I got a friend that works there and he's helped out a ton, but still, like on the ads, you send an email about them and you just get some stupid Facebook thing that's like, I'm sorry, you just need to verify your credit card to access the account. And I'm like, you don't understand. Like, I am not going to verify my credit card.
Right.
So that it can either be used until you can assure me that we have the account secure. And number 2, I at least want to talk to a human to go, do I got to pay this $1,200? You know what I mean? Like,
right.
If I don't want to, I may have to. You know, if we want to run Facebook ads ever in the future, which we don't run a lot, so I look at it and go, I don't really care. You know, like if they keep me locked out of advertising on Facebook. Promotions. Yeah, if I can't do a paid ad on Facebook, it's not the end of the world for me. But if I decide I want to do a paid ad, I'm probably going to have to pay the $1,200. You know what I mean? Like, and the truth is Facebook's probably going to come file collections on me for the stupid $1,200, even though I'm not the one that did it and somebody unauthorized. But I can't talk to anybody. So that's, I don't know if I covered that. Yeah. Yeah. So that's just fun. Thank you for reminding me, Jason. Thank you for reminding me. I appreciate that.
Hey, you're leaving in like an hour. Don't get too down about it. You can forget about it for a couple of days. Because they got it fixed now, right?
No.
I mean, other than the ads.
So I think I have full control of W again. They are no longer in control of W. But if I look at Big Game Houndsman, the Facebook page, they kicked me off the Big Game Houndsman Facebook page. And this other gal that is one of the hackers owns the Big Game Houndsman group. So that's one that we're still working on. I haven't checked it today to see if we've gotten that secured again, but that tells me that it's not all fixed. And OESDA page is completely gone still. Like, are you a computer? Can you Google and see if OESDA is on Facebook yet?
Yeah.
Not Google, but go to Facebook, see if you can find not the paid members group, but the regular one. So OESDA is another one that they just completely, I don't know if they deleted it or renamed it or deactivated it, but OESDA page is completely gone. And we're trying to work on with Facebook to get that reinstated. But that's another one that we're trying to clean up.
Yeah, I don't think so.
Yeah, so it's not fixed. So luckily W is secure, at least so I think it is.
And we're just talking about the Facebook page.
Yeah, just the Facebook page.
Not W.
Yeah. No,
sorry,
nothing but W.
I
There's
don't want to
nothing
scare people off.
on there. Facebook, and there's Facebook hacks all over. Everybody's getting hacked by Facebook. I'm just stupid and got it done twice.
It looks legit.
Request from me.
It really looks legit.
It was impressive. Like I said, it was impressive how detailed and comprehensive they went to hide what they were doing behind the scenes. And I caught a few things, but yeah. So we're still working on it. OESDA, the crappy part is poor Brad Mombert. They had some raffles for that dog box Brian made.
Oh yeah.
And so some guys were like, we just paid them, Venmo or whatever. So some raffle money to OESDA. So that it was going there. And he's like, I feel like I'm getting scammed. The website's gone. I can't find anything. And it's like, just chill out.
Hold on, buddy.
Hold on. I promise you, we're not, we got everybody's information. We're not going to take the money and run. You know what I mean? And,
right.
And we're just trying to figure out the best way to fix this. And so if by chance, you see somebody complaining that OESDA is scamming people, like, just have a little grace. We got to figure out how to rebuild this. We may have to just start a new OESDA page. I'm going to have to start over if nothing, but we're hoping that we can get that page recovered. But so far it's going on 2 weeks and we haven't been able to yet. 1 week or 2 weeks. I don't know. So maybe it's 1 week.
I think it's been 2 weeks. I don't know. I came back from Autumn Oaks to it. And that was.
Yeah.
2 weeks. I don't know anymore.
So whenever you get somebody asking for, when Facebook asks you to test out this cool new business profile, don't do it. Don't do it. Don't do it. Oh, Abdul Akbar Hakim or whatever. They're smart. Those guys are smart, man.
Well, anything else you wanted to cover?
I pretty much rubbed salt in all of my wounds
I didn't
today.
even mean to do that.
Yeah. We've been just busy.
It has been crazy.
Yeah. So we need to get on here and talk some dogs sometime. That's what we need to do.
Mine are so out of shape right now. I trimmed my toenails for the first time in like 3 years. I never let dogs sit long enough to mess with it. And this year I have flat been a loser.
Yeah.
I laid him up. So we're going to see if we can tear some feet off him tonight.
That's good. Good, yeah. I had to take Shy. We took her to the vet. She had a lump on her, and we were kind of thinking it was cancer, but it came out clean, looked like fatty. So that was good news this week for us. We thought maybe we were going to have it went on the cancer side, but
don't you have a puppy too? I mean,
I got a year-old. Yeah.
I think of Andy when I think of your puppy, and Andy's got to be 6, right?
No, not that old, but 4 or 5.
4 or 5, yeah. It's like, but but I remembered you had a new pup.
Yeah.
What's that one?
Yeah. Kit.
Like with a T, Kit? Like
Yep.
the car?
Like Kit Kat.
Oh, I'm thinking David Hasselhoff, man. Night Rider.
Yeah. Yeah, you could do that. She's white, though. She's not black. Yeah, we get her fixed next week, I think. Fix all the females. No puppies at our house.
Right.
So, and then pretty much shut down because of September. Like, we slipped out during the week. Like, I'll try to go out during the weekdays on September. I try not to hunt the weekends because the deer and elk hunters are out there. It's been, but yeah, and then October and November get busy. So it's like, man, it is season, but it's always kind of like really difficult to, it seems like there's a lot of people in the woods.
Yeah.
So if I can't go on the weekday, I try not to go out on the weekends.
I'm the same way. From here through the end of elk season, I try.
Yeah.
I mean, hunting at night makes a big difference, but those guys still get cranky, man.
Yep. Yeah. Yeah. I didn't run into anybody when me and James were hunting. We were actually lucky. We did, but I think we had a couple campers down because there was some cars parked down there. And like I said, I heard some voices and stuff. So I think we trailed a little early in the morning for them.
Right.
But that stuff just makes you jump. I don't like doing that because it's mostly you just don't know if somebody's going to grab a dog or go do something stupid. It's just stressful.
Yeah.
So
I think we all try. You know what I mean? Like you try to stay out of those situations, but heck, I had one last year. I had no idea they were there till they were treed, and I hear like a dog right below me and people talking. And it was kind of sketchy.
So that's a topic I'm going to ask you about. I'll put you on the spot since you read all you've read salt in my wounds. Explain this National Hound Alliance. What is it called?
The National Houndsman Alliance.
There you go. What is that? You're on the steering committee. Explain that to folks.
Right now, I mean, it's just a steering committee. We had a meeting last night. So
what's a steering committee?
The steering committee, until there is a board of representatives, there is like a set of bylaws. It's established as a C3 or C4. You know, right now it's a concept until we actually get everything put together. So we're working on getting some bylaws written up with the main focus being, you know, when things come up on a national level, you know, states need help with legislation or education stuff, that we can all join forces and do it together. Mm-hmm. But still in its infancy, you know, right now we're still looking at C3, C4, where to incorporate. You know, there's just a lot to do to set it up, because if you're going to set it up, it's got to be right, or it's kind of pointless, you know?
So what did you guys figure out yesterday? You had a meeting.
I don't know if we figured out a whole lot, but we talked.
You guys at the point where you just talking circles, or are you guys making headway?
No, we're making headway. You know, we've got to narrow down to a few states where to incorporate. The big thing is the C3, C4, because some of us did some research since our last meeting, you know, and just deciding which way to go with that.
I hope you guys don't go C3. I'll be honest. I'd be a strong advocate against C3. Like, that would be my...
Because of your limitations.
Yeah, there's no point where you're going to raise money. The benefit of a C3 would be somebody donating to you could get a tax write-off. Meaning, if I had $100,000 and I wanted to, you know, send it to you guys and get that $100,000 write-off for my business, C3 is the way to go, like hands down. So if you got people with big, deep pockets that are asking you that they need the donation, you know, they need the tax deduction, then yeah, you need a C3. That's the whole benefit of a C3, right? Is the tax deduction. Beyond that, the problem with the C3 is so let's say you put $1 million in the bank, you can only spend 10% of that towards a political fight. So that this deal in Colorado, if you had $1 million in the bank in a C3, so let's just say you guys were, 100%, you're like gonna you kill it. We knock it out of the park. We raise $1 million and there's $1 million sitting there. Colorado comes to you and says, hey, we got this political fight. Can you give us some money? And you guys are going to be like, well, we can only spend 10% per year of our revenue towards that. So here's $100,000. We got $1 million, but we can only give you $100,000.
Right.
You know, you'd have to go through the education, and you'd be like, oh, we could educate people. So there's some ways around that. You know what I mean? Like, I'm not going to say that there's not ways to play games with the C3 and be like, well, we're just going to educate. So you use like, you know, the blood origins or whatever, you know what I mean? You make an educational video, but you can't tell them vote no against 127. You know what I mean? Like, so in my opinion, what point is making a video for Colorado if you can't tell the voter exactly what the hell to do, which is we need to stop 127 from happening. You know what I mean?
Yeah. So, and there was a lot of talk about the importance of the 4. And, you know, a lot of people, they have C3s and C4s. There's an organization. There's a foundation. So, I mean, it sounds like pretty much everybody at that point agreed that the end result, there needs to be both at some capacity, you know.
Well, you guys figure out what you figure out. If you guys come out with a C3, I'm going to be disappointed. Whatever.
I'll make sure to relay that.
No, don't tell them that. I don't give a shit. Like, I'm not there. Like, it is what it is. I have seen this fight enough. I watched it happen in Maine. I've talked to the guys in Wisconsin and Michigan. We did it in Oregon. You talk to California. I mean, if you talk to the groups and the associations that actually fight the fight, their hands get tied on a C3. Like every time your hands get tied, so like it is what it is. That's what, you know, but the title of the C3, everybody's, the 501c3, 501c3, you know, it's like, man, what's HSUS? Is HSUS a C4?
I have no idea.
I'd be curious to see.
I'm not going to give them a website yet. That is going to throw my algorithms off, man. There ain't no way I'm looking that up. You do it.
I wonder if they are a C3.
Because we looked at C7s too. That's out of the question. Like,
yeah, so it is a C3. But they can educate on animal.
They got Melissa Etheridge. She wouldn't cheat.
Animal welfare. Yeah.
Right. So it's still, you know, in its infancy. But once the bylaws are, you know, drafted and we get a chance to review, then it would progress past the steering committee. Mm-hmm. But
yeah,
you don't know how long, you know, we want to do it as quickly and as correctly as we can, because you don't want to go about it wrong. That's for sure. Mm-hmm. So yeah, we'll have a meeting in 2 weeks. But that's pretty much all I got on it for now.
That's interesting. I'm curious to see what you guys come up with.
There's a lot of people in that room. I mean, from all over and all walks of like houndsman life. So it's interesting. Well, you know, it's nice to get together with a lot of those guys that I've dealt with, you know, as customers or, you know, like working with Naomi. And it's just, you kind of know all these people anyway, so you know there's good representation in the room, which is really nice. It's just figuring it all out, because everybody else has day jobs. You know, we all have lives. That's the tough part. But they all got the common goal, I think, and that's to unify. Yeah, exactly. But that's it on that.
Yeah, well, it'll be interesting. When's your next meeting?
2 weeks.
Are you guys going to have like some type of outreach or meeting notes, or like where you explain these types of things to people?
Yeah, last night we elected an interim secretary / treasurer for the steering committee to be recording episode notes, and there's stuff like that. If somebody has questions, you can probably reach out to Chris Powell. I'm not sure, but I think he said that we were recording all those. I don't know if that's for general public right now, you know, until we get things going. But if somebody has input, there's lots of people on that steering committee that could probably pass that input along.
Yeah. Cool. What else you got? Where you at? Where you wrap this up,
man? I gotta pee. That's what I got.
All right. Well, let's wrap this up so we can get orders shipped out, get our emails fixed, so we can get the heck out of here. I've worked too hard this week.
Go enjoy your weekend.
It's actual real work this week, like drilling holes and mounting concrete and pallets and moving heavy stuff. And I'm just going to complain. Giving out passwords. That's the hardest work right there. When you give out passwords to bad people, that's never a good thing.
No.
And we had a security update on our website, so that was a pretty extensive website push that we did this week. Or it was early. It was early this week, I think.
No, the first one was last week.
Oh, last week they did that, and then they had a patch that was installed this week. It went fairly smooth, but working behind the scenes to get the developers to, upgrade our Magento software. Basically, it's like, like on these alphas, why don't you update your software? Like, we got to do that with our website every month or every other month or whatever. There's these security patches that we got to install so that hackers always find new ways of getting in. So we got to fix and block them as they find them. So it was just one thing after another. Hopefully everything's going to settle down and we'll get back to normal. Or at least I'll get back to normal. That's what I want. Yeah. You guys can stay busy.
Right.
So, all right, Jason, we'll wrap this up.
All right. Have a good one.
All right.